what is it that candidates are looking for in hospitality? What makes them want to join? Those that do want to join and know what they want, what makes them want to join above and beyond money? Because it's not the highest paid um, job you can study to go into. So what is it that they're drawn towards?
Well, I think what's interesting is a lot of my, if you like, junior management, and when I say junior, I'm talking people in their early to late 20s, early 30s. A lot of them have actually come into hospitality from different degrees, like history and geography, or in that's indeed if they did a degree program at all. So they're actually finding hospitality very attractive. But I think what they are attracted to is the variety of the roles, the ability to progress quickly. They recognize they're going to have to work hard, but they can actually see that they can progress quite quickly in their late 20s, early 30s. They can progress into middle management roles much quicker than perhaps they could do if they're working for an advertising agency or a law firm or whatever it is are perceived as being the traditional great professions to be in. Now, in order to do that, they're going to have to be very, very flexible. They're going to have to work very, very hard. They're going to have a great attitude. But I absolutely believe that the opportunities are there if you're willing to go for it. In fact, they're there more than they were when I left hotel school in 1986, where the route was you joined a 4-day management training program or a Holiday Inn program, and you kind of slogged away for 3 or 4 years, and then something might happen. They've got so many opportunities now, whether being contract catering in restaurants. You've got places like Soho House Group that didn't exist a few years ago. So the opportunities, not only in London, but in Manchester and Cardiff and Edinburgh and major cities all across the UK, I think there's some fantastic opportunities for young people in across the whole sector, and very dynamic and fast-paced. You can reach a management position quite easily in your late 20s. The caterer under 30 every year recognize 30 people every year under 30 who've achieved great things. And I'm always amazed at what young people and the opportunities young people are given. You don't see that in other professions, as far as I'm aware.
I agree.
To the same degree.
I agree. And has the appetite and the ambition changed from 86 to now? Or is it still the same kind of desire?
Well, I'm not one of these people who talks about the millennials as being different. I think everybody's different. You can't broad brush a whole group of people and say they're different. I think the desire, the ambition, that's all there. I think quite rightly, they're much more challenging around employers now in terms of, I'm not prepared to do 80-hour weeks. I'm not prepared to do every weekend. If my contract says 45 hours, I might do 50, but I'm not going to do 70. And by the way, they're right. I don't actually have a problem with that. I think in my own case, I had to sort of 6-day weeks were kind of a norm, and a 12, 14-hour day was a norm. We used to call them AFDs, and you know what that stands for. I don't think at the end of that's a sustainable position for an industry, professional industry nowadays, that it's just some sort of the one who's the most resilient will rise to the top. I think it should be, you need to have an element of resilience, but you also should have all the other qualities that makes you a successful manager and leader, not just the person who's prepared to work the hardest and the longest.
Yeah.
That's not a sustainable position for an individual business or indeed for an industry. So I actually admire the way a lot of the young people in my business conduct themselves, and other business that I meet conduct themselves. They are prepared to work hard, but only if they see an objective at the end of it, and that the business that they're working in is supporting them, encouraging them, nurturing them. I think they're much more prepared to go and see somebody for mentoring and guidance than perhaps I was. I would have never approached a senior manager in a business in my early years, and you weren't really encouraged to. Where now, quite rightly, I think younger people in the business are quite happy to seek out someone to give them some guidance, because it isn't always going to come naturally. If you're not getting it through your normal reporting route, then find it somewhere else. And I think that the bright students who are engaged will do that. So a couple of my managers, Sal and Joanna and myself, are on the Oxford Brookes mentoring scheme, and we've all got a graduate each, and they come and see us individually about 3 times a year, and I don't see any lack of ambition in them. They always follow through on what recommendations you make, and I think having exposure to senior leaders at that stage of their career is very, very helpful for them. Well, I always advise my own team, if they're looking to move somewhere else, I always ask what happened to the person in the job you're replacing. So always look to the reason why you're going. And I like people to be very open about that, but be clear about why there's a vacancy in that role, Has that person been promoted? Have they moved somewhere else? Have they moved sideways? Or indeed, have they been fired? And indeed, in some cases, you find that position has changed 2 or 3 times in the last 5 years. If it has, you have to ask some very deep questions. And in my own business, we really do encourage internal promotions. We have nearly 400 staff on the team, but only if equally they go through a process and that they are and have the skills that will enable them to do the job, because you don't want them to fail by getting a promotion, which can happen. People can be promoted just because they were the number 2 or whatever. So I think you have to ensure that there is some structure around your training development, and we use Talent Toolbox. We have a structured tool in the business for the last 4 years where we can document people's progress, ensure that their job chats are taking place, ensure that they've got clear objectives, and that they've got a plan, no matter how rudimentary it is. I think I always say to people in hospitality, there's no yellow brick road. I can't tell you at 25 where you're going to be at 30. But sadly, a lot of people I mentor can't tell me either. And I always say, if you can't tell me at 30 where you want to be, I can tell you now I can't really do anything to help you get there. So we can be quite challenging at times, but I think the young person has to have a realistic goal about where they want to be. And then you can set yourself some guide ropes or whatever to achieve them.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Lisa. I hope you enjoyed the film. If you did, please like and share. And if you've got any comments or any questions, just leave them in the box below and I'll come back to you there. Also, the links to my website, Power for Success, are below as well. Have a little look around there. And I hope you enjoyed the channel and have a really lovely day.